Chat, I am back, and we shall be playing a game that I hope will capture easier than Final Fantasy did. There it is, Dark Souls. I don't know why it's so quiet on this menu, like no music. Let's see. I'm gonna check out the DLC. I suppose I should play as the character I was just playing as. Possibly. There's the music. Yeah, I should probably do that. Just want to check out the DLC of this game, because there's a lot of... I forgot I'm in New Game Plus. This may complicate things. This is information that I had forgotten. Well, oh god, this controller's starting to get drift. The problem, but this controller is starting to get drift. You know, I can switch to a different controller. That I can use my Pro controller. Back there, controller. What you doing? I'll use my Pro controller for this. Because the buttons on that work, and as long as I just don't look at what the letters on the buttons say, then it'll be fine. Cool. And now we play. I'm still Havel. Perhaps I should unhovel. Because that's not quite how I had things. Let's see, what was I even using before? Fuck it, let's switch to whatever, and then see. I can roll with this, but not the fastest. Gotta get to that guy. What does this mask do again? I don't remember. Raises stamina recovery speed. Got it. I have my lightning longsword. Suppose that's what I'm rocking with. Hornet ring, ring of favor. Okay. All standard. I suppose, yeah, this is fine. Did I have anything else that I guess, maybe? I have armor that I actually, like, upgraded? Oh, yeah, I have the armor of the sun, yes. That's what I was using. Before I had to switch for the sake of, fighting some bosses. I remember I played this game, don't worry, I remember. I definitely remember. Hello, sir. Although this is a little weird, because I have been playing a little bit of Elden Ring in my own time. And so this just, like, feels so weird to control now. So, if this is starting from New Game Plus, I don't think I have any closer save files. I think, like, I'm just gonna have to basically go through this New Game Plus all the way up to the DLC. So this is basically gonna be like a full revisit, isn't it? Oops. Guess I'm replaying Dark Souls 1. What a tragedy. What a shame. I should be able to fight this guy now. Although I don't have to. I can go drop in on him from the Silen. I need to change the camera speed. Because it is different on this controller. That's better. Or tutorials. I don't know why I'm bothering to stop and read anything here. There's no need. Get out of here. That thing. Hand it over. Your dark soul. Get away up there. Is this not a way to go from over here? It's not. Went the wrong way. We gotta go around the right side. Then eventually loop our way around to grab that item. All right, drop it. Ooh!
Oh, you.
I'm not here to listen to all of your dialogue. I just replayed this a month ago. I'm just trying to get out of here. Oh no, he died. I've been hit. Oh, now I have 2 pyromancy flames. That is all. You know, fair enough. Not uncommon thing for people to just pop into the chat and just bonk me and just leave. I feel like that's something that kind of happens around here a lot. It's locked. Well, then let me go remedy that then by killing this demon. And you sly dog. Oh my god, you fiend. That time was Wario. Which reminds me still that I wanted to put more... I wanted to add more things to that folder of the, of the things that get thrown at me. That's still a someday thing. I'll add more to that when I have more ideas of what to add. I suppose I could add Godzilla and things like that to fit with the rest of the stream theming. I just want to go grab this item. That's all I want to do. Is that so much to ask for? I believe it is not. I believe I am well within my rights. Oh no, it died. Oh no, the poor fish. Let's go and make sure we open this. Add a plane. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. God, I've been seeing a meme recently on like TikTok of like people, you know, fucking like weebs and people being like, look at how advanced Japan, Japan, look how advanced Japan is. They have a train that goes through a building. And everybody was like, that's nothing. You should see America in 2001. Where's that key that I need to get through that door to get that item? Whatever, I'll come back to it eventually. Not out here, is it? Nope. Alright, we're just gonna try and speed run through Dark Souls 1 as fast as possible, so I may reach the DLC that I have not checked out on either of my playthroughs. Whatever, bird. We've seen it all, literally a month ago when I did a whole marathon. I played all these games for a week straight. We're not sitting through shit. Oh, the streams, yeah, always a good time. Oh, oh.
Wow.
My mashing skills are fantastic. All of that Metroid Dread speedrunning I used to do. Look at this fucking guy.
Hello there.
I hate this guy.
That is a
Check this. This is the responsible thing to do in a run.
Enough of you.
Enough of you.
The gods.
He sounds like a germ a bit. Enough of you. Sounds like Bugleberry. Yeah, these guys suck, though. And they are not to be trusted under any circumstances. So it really is just easier to do this, because otherwise, we'll have a whole problem later. Again, it's like the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. It's like, trust me, this saves us so much time. Oh no, it can't end like this. It just did. Oh no, what a shame. Oh, what a thrill. With darkness and silence through the night. So do my bonfires remain powered up through playthroughs? Who knows? Let's just move on. Our goal is we need to get to Anor Londo as fast as possible to get the thing that we need to go through the painting and do the stuff. Do all the things. Punch that man's humanity? Yeah. You know, I say munching on humanity. Oh yeah, this isn't a thing yet. We can't go that way yet. Munching on humanity? Isn't that just sucking a dick? It's always so weird to go back playing Dark Souls 1 after playing the newer games. Like, playing Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3, it really spoils you on mechanics. Because everything works so smoothly in those games. By the way, this isn't even the last time you're going to see Dark Souls 1 this year. Because I'm doing this of revisiting the DLC here. And like other areas that I didn't explore in my playthroughs. For the sole purpose of not being confused or out of place. When I do a randomizer of Dark Souls 1. Because that's also gonna be happening. In relative terms, not far from now. You'll excuse me, I must grab this item. They don't treat you like a friend, they treat you like an item. I would know, because I get friend-zoned so often. Welcome to my gamer pad where I get so tilted at the towers. Get out of here, dangly boys. This property isn't for you. Fucking rubbish, mate. Fucking rubbish, mate. There's an item there. How do I grab that item? I don't recall, but we'll figure out. Someday. Now this just becomes a matter of how fast can I replay Dark Souls 1 New Game Plus? That's the question we are answering. Nothing on the ground floor here, right? That's all up on the up floor that I have to jump to. I really don't understand why there's a white haze through the door of this house. Never really made sense. Oh, hi, dragon. Okay, bye. Well, laddie, he turned from a wee snake into a big old dragon. What the fuck? I'm sorry, what are... why are you here? Since when are you a thing that appears here? I've never seen these guys here before. What? I have never seen that before. Is that only a New Game Plus thing? That, like, they add new enemies into the area? Or is that, like, supposed to be, like, an invader substitute? That's confusing. Yeah, fuck out of here. Kick you. Break these cuffs. Chat, I'm not even gonna pretend at this moment in time, in this moment of my life. I'm not even going to pretend that it's not just my current struggle is not just trying to pretend like I don't just only want to play Dark Souls all the time. There's a lot of mental effort that goes in behind the scenes to try and make any reason, any justification for playing Dark Souls again. Ow. I gotta listen to my heart. And my heart says, replay Dark Souls 3 for the 30th time. Ow. I'm trying to treat this like Dark Souls 3, and it's not working. Gone for longer than intended? You sure were. Where were you? We needed you. Also, for those... I didn't fucking... Let's get out of here with that. For those who missed the end of the Final Fantasy VII segment, it is very unlikely that I'm going to be finishing Final Fantasy VII. And to explain in brief, I have a lot of problems with it, and it's not for me. If you want specifics of what happened, the writing is problematic and dated on top of, like, not great mechanics. So, not a lot of redeeming factors there for me. What was that little message I just saw? Am I being invaded?
Things are getting treacherous in these parts. Oh, and
You don't have anything I want, right? I suppose I could get repair powder, but I don't think I need that, but whatever. Humph. Need amazing chest. You see, there's like just a whole long segment where simultaneously they had cross-dressing and prostitution like played off for comedy. And it was just like, one is just kind of uncomfortable through a modern lens, and the other one is just kind of, oh. And on top of the rest of the way that you know, everything's written, it's just not for me. Oh, why are you not dead? Get out of here. Yeah, it was all around. It had a lot of overtones of racism, transphobia, and also misogyny. Just to be fun. Just for flavor. A little bit of misogyny. Like, the moment that they introduce any female character, it's just like, add it to Cloud's harem. So it's a no from me, dog. I'll probably end up watching somebody else play the remake and just not experience it myself. Because I'd still like to see how the story goes, but I'm not going to tolerate this, like, the gameplay of it myself. Especially, I'm gonna watch somebody play the remake. and that'll be my Final Fantasy experience, and it'll probably be all the better for it. Look, the thing is that, like, if I didn't already know spoilers for the story, then I would have some reason to be engaged in it. But since I already know, like, huge spoilers, huge swaths of the story, it just removes any redeeming factors there would have been for me. Like, there's no reason for me to play it. And for people that, like, grew up with it, like, you gotta realize that, like, Final Fantasy VII was a lot of people's first RPG and really solidified, like, it's not a bad game for its time, but there's just no reason for me to play it now. Well, things that the remake is that it's not just like one remake. It's not just a full retelling of Final Fantasy VII. That hurt. More so, the remake is like, it's not just like a one-to-one, like, you know, like how you do like a remaster or whatever. It tells it like a somewhat different story. Like, it's a different take on the story. From what I understand of it, having not, like, seen it myself. But that's just what I understand from the discussions around it, is that it's not just, like, a remake straight up of Final Fantasy VII. It's like, it's somewhat the same story, but there's, like, major differences. Oh no, we still get the storyline of awkward Cloud cross-dressing with that weird pervy guy. That's still inherent. That's not going anywhere. Plunge. Got him. I may actually be able to use some fun gimmicky weapons in the replay here, since I don't really have to worry too much about a lot of stuff. Although I did not get his weapon. Yeah, there were a lot of moments while playing it that kind of felt like, oh, this is all like the weird problematic things about Japanese writing, all in one condensed form. Good for me.
Ah, hello.
No resemblance.
Oh. Oh. Oh, hello.
Oh, nothing. Okay. Like, am I missing a dialogue thing? Quick. Oh god, get down! The thing is that, like, it's not just Japan that's guilty of, like, that trope. That's, like, a thing that happened a lot in the 90s and the 2000s, and even today. Even to this day. It's a very common trope of, like, oh, man, cross-dress, funny, Funny when man wear dress. This is the height of entertainment. Thought I heard another enemy. Guess up top. No, Japan's fantastic. Just ignore the fact that they also have a lot of fascism going on over there. You can just ignore that simple fact. Whoops. Whoops. Thing but in Japan? There it is. Must I do these things in series? But I don't want to fall off the cliff. I just, like, shoot the more stable part. Sure can. Get out of the fucking menu. Why am I stuck here? Oh, that was fast. Okay, that ain't happening. That ain't happening right now. I'm just gonna ignore that. That's too much effort. I'm just trying to get back to where I can do the DLC. So I've been seeing a lot, and I mean a lot, of discussion about Dark Souls 3 recently. That's just like shitting on it for looking like desaturated and gray and gloomy. And it's always like, Dark Souls 2 has bright, vivid colors. Dark Souls 1 is like, has nice colors. So we have this right now. This is what is considered colorful to the people strongly criticizing how Dark Souls 3 looks. This is the definition of colorful and vibrant. I legitimately think that the people making these claims do just think that more green equals more colorful. And things are like, this color doesn't even last long. The moment you get out of this area, everything just looks like shit. It's still just wild to me that, like, I've been seeing so much recently. Oh god. I've been seeing two different takes so much recently, and those takes are Dark Souls 3 looks too desaturated and gray, and Dark Souls 3 copies too much from Dark Souls 1. And both are arguments that just baffle me. Because the first argument is, one, ignoring the fact that, yes, there is a lot of color in Dark Souls 3. You just choose to ignore it. And two, Dark Souls 3 copying from Dark Souls 1. It's a sequel. You can't have a sequel without using the thematic elements of the game that came before it. Otherwise, it's not a sequel. And then I see the response to that that's like, oh yeah, but Dark Souls 2 doesn't draw too much on Dark Souls 1. It does its own thing. It's like, yeah, because that's a completely separate story. It's like not even attempting. Like, think about how much Dark Souls 2 actually affects the grander story of Dark Souls. Just think for a moment. How much bearing does Dark Souls 2 actually have on the rest of the series? And the answer is very little. So of course it doesn't use a lot of shit from Dark Souls 1. Oh, that's what that's about. Gravelord Servant. It's just, it baffles me. It's a different director that tells a completely different story. It's not exactly a sequel to Dark Souls 1. Like, Dark Souls 3 is more of a sequel than Dark Souls 2 is. It's just, I just don't fucking get it. And they want to act like Dark Souls 3, also this is another, like, complaint that I see. Want to act like Dark Souls 3 has terrible stage design. And, like not fun levels. And is, like, terribly laid out. And need I remind that I just died in a location that now I have been running back to for the past 3 minutes. I have been making a beeline back to and still have not reached. Like, you're gonna point to this as, like, peak design? Like, I really don't understand why Dark Souls 3 all of a sudden is getting so much hate. Like, it feels like every possible issue with it is just being, like, over-exaggerated to a ridiculous degree. Like, every minor complaint that you could have about Dark Souls 3 is just being inflated into, like, a game-ruining issue. Nah, yeah, it's just, there is a lot of meat riding for Dark Souls 1. Like, we're not even gonna pretend like a lot of bosses in this game aren't also incredibly, like, flawed and shitty. Unless you do a very specific, cheesy type of setup. Like, we're just not gonna pretend that that's the reality. That, like, bosses like Four Kings and Nito aren't just huge pains in the ass to fight and are only tolerable under specific means. That's just the reality that many choose to live in. Oh yeah, I made a meme that I don't think I shared with chat specifically, but I put it in the Discord. But I might as well, since we're doing soul stuff again. See if I can find this. Where the hell did I put this? Oh yeah. God fucking damn it. My mouse is still fucking busted. And, like, doesn't, like, the left click still just isn't working right. Fucking... click anything. Beast Eye quivers. I need to take out these archers. See, the thing is that I've been seeing a lot of the hatred for Dark Souls 3 and its, like, color palette that has also been extended to Bloodborne. Motherfuckers, when they realize a game has a theme, You see, you say that Elden Ring is split with its love and hate. But every time I see anything about Elden Ring, it's all meat writing as well. Like, there's also a lot of Elden Ring meat writing. You see, Sekiro, the reason why they didn't really talk about in the rest of these discussions is because it's so different. And also, like, it just doesn't have the flaws that, like, everybody is talking about in these discussions. Sekiro is very colorful. And its level design, like, I think it's just, like, Sekiro really just kind of has its own, like, there's, like, a whole, like, Sekiro-ciety that exists, a secret Sekiro-ciety that just really stays unbothered and, like, uninvolved in all the rest of what everybody's talking about. Historiki. Ooh, Michael Jackson. Lol. Sekiro was really good, though. For a game that was Game of the Year, though, it is very forgotten. I also saw a thing pointing out that Elden Ring DLC, for all it adds, is still like an additional $40 on top of a full price game. So it's like $100 total for the full Elden Ring experience. And meanwhile, God of War Ragnarok just dropped a new DLC that adds a completely new mode and storyline and dialogue that gives the game infinite replayability. And they made that DLC free. No, you see, it's the best decision, though, to get that version of Elden Ring, because you get an art book that has, like, 3 pictures in it. And, like, a map of the game that you can see in-game. And, like... And it says it's an art book. It says it's an art book. In reality, what it is like a couple screenshots of the game or a couple pictures of promotional art that just has text over it that gives you beginning game tutorials. Nice fucking art book. Like, oh boy, an art book for this game that all it has in it is a few pictures that just give me the tutorial. What a great bargain. I don't know, man. From Software is really starting to lose my trust these days. Like, between, like, the design choices of Elden Ring just being pretty scummy in a lot of places and not great. And, like, $40 for DLC. It's just, really something to think about. Something to consider when pontificating about the state of From Software. Pretty questionable. Thing is, now you can buy a new deluxe version of Elden Ring. They have a new deluxe version that comes with Shadows of the Erdtree. So then you only have to pay $80 total instead of $100. Nothing I'd level at this point is gonna affect anything. Whatever, get more vitality. Oops. I forgot what my buttons were for a moment. I'm not playing this on an Xbox controller. Whoosh. Why whoosh? Oh, there's hollowing. Oh, I still just have the soul of Gwyn sitting around. Oh, okay, that's already as far as that goes. At least for now. I mean, $40 for DLC is actually really expensive, though. And, like, I know that they're gonna be adding new stuff, but, like, think about what the other Dark Souls DLCs and other From Software DLCs have added up to this point. Like, think about, like, the Dreg Heap and the Ring City are, like, you know, or, like, the Painted World and the Ring City are two separate DLCs for Dark Souls. Think about how much those areas add, and think about if you want to pay $40 for both of those. That's how much I'm imagining is being added. Like, I just don't trust that, like, that's a worthwhile price point. Especially when the game is, like, so new. And there's other studios making also big DLC. And just dropping it for free. Like, we're not gonna pretend that From Software needs the money when Elden Ring sold like fucking hotcakes. And if the new things that they add, like, this is what's gonna happen with the DLC. You're going to explore the new area for the very first time. You're going to fight all the bosses, which will probably also have some, like, fucking bullshit AoE mechanics like every other boss in that game does. You'll finish that section of the DLC and that story. And then you'll finish the game, and you'll go back on New Game Plus, and you will explore maybe 5% of that area again. And you'll skip 4 of the bosses. And that's just what it's gonna be. Like, I feel like since Elden Ring now is 2 years old, like, when people play Elden Ring now, as opposed to when it first came out, when people play Elden Ring right now, I can guarantee they are not playing the game the same way they did when it released. Because if you've already played Elden Ring, and you go back and you revisit it, you're not slowly walking around the world, taking in every moment and looking out into the horizon to think, oh man, I wonder what's over there. I can't wait to go explore it. No, like, when you replay Elden Ring, it becomes a linear game. So it's like the appeal of like a whole new area as like this, you know, one of the big selling points of it. It's like that area is going to be good for like the first time, and then I will never care again on replay throughs, because I'm sure that like whatever's in that area will probably be actually unsubstantial.
Don't you ever...
Reinforce. You see, that is true of open world games. But there is a problem inherent within Elden Ring, is that a lot of other open world games have a quest system. And they have side quest systems, and it's very easy to track. You know, like, you get a mission to go to this place, you do a thing. So even on replaythroughs, you know that, like, you can go to this place and that place and, like, do all these missions and do all that. That doesn't really exist in Elden Ring. And so when you go through for a replaythrough, it's not just that you won't explore a lot of the map, it's that you'll have no reason to. There will be, like, when you replay, there's no reason to explore. There's no reason to go to, like, 99% of the map, because you remember from your first playthrough, like, oh, there's, like, a single glintstone firefly over here that I don't need, so I won't bother. Like, aside from just, you know, random enemies everywhere, Elden Ring is pretty fucking empty. Like, sure, you can go and replay that area again and, like, re-explore that if you want to fight your, like, 500th Godric soldier. No, you see, but I do that in every other FromSoft game. But every other FromSoft game is linear inherently. So there's no part of the experience that's being missed by just going through the levels straight, grabbing what you want, and reaching the boss. Because that is inherent to the design of these games, because they're linear. It's not like you can do anything other than that. But Elden Ring is an open world game. And so when you reach that point of an open world game, you might as well just replay Dark Souls. Like, that's the problem with it, is that, like, 90% of the map just doesn't feel important in the slightest. And so it just goes completely ignored on replaythroughs. Whereas in Dark Souls games, you have to experience this.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, when I see like a $40 price tag on DLC for that, I just think about the fact that it is going to have, like, very little replay value. And unless there's like a quest line inside of the DLC that's the most fun thing to do in the game ever, it's probably just gonna end up, like, in a year or so, turning into something that people just skip. Like, the entire DLC. Like, it's very common when I play through Dark Souls 3, I just skip the painted world. That's common for me when I play Dark Souls 3, is to just skip the painted world. So it's like, unless there's going to be something, like, absolutely unbelievably incredible in the DLC, then I just don't see $40 being worth that. And I would say to the 90% being an exaggeration, thinking about how much time in Elden Ring is spent on your horse just going across a giant empty field. Like, how much time in Elden Ring is spent just going from location to location and not stopping for anything in between? Unless it's to pick up, like a row of fruit that, like, you happen to pass over top. Like, unless you're gonna stop and fight every enemy that you've already stopped and fought on your first playthrough, you're probably just gonna run past a lot of obstacles because you already know how to avoid the obstacles. And the reward for defeating said obstacles probably isn't worth it. So you just run past it. Ding dong. Ding dong.
Greeting. I am Oz.
Gotta get at least one more of these, why not? I could get these rings. I'm sure.
Thou art welcome.
Alright, so that's one of our bells done. We just gotta go get the other one, and then we do... It's really not all that far from being able to, get to the DLC. Because we just have to ring the second bell. And then go through Sen's Fortress. And then Anor Londo to get to the painting really doesn't take that long. It's pretty close to the start. There's that bird ass. Little skeleton. What you gotta be so tough for? Is it because I'm using the wrong weapon? Oh. Being a little sleepy up there? Sleepy birdie? I can get a level now. I will get another level into Strength. This is Dark Souls 1.
Why?
Get this fucker out of here. I might as well get that off of you first.
You leave me no choice.
Come on, do the kick. Oh, he just did it to himself. I didn't even have to fight him. He just... Damn. Okay, then. Moving on. How do I get to Blighttown again? That's through this way. The layout of this area is always, like, weird and confusing to me. I was like, oh boy, you went all the way through the entire area. Now you can go to a different area. Nope, joke's on you. You're going back to the same area to go open a different door. Babbering. I'd rather my Firekeeper not be dead. Also, I already have the Ring of Favor. I could have another one, but I just don't see the point. Then that's just too limiting. What's the fastest way back there? Just straight down mid? Try that. Get over here. To get, just gotta kill the game. Well, I'll be back there eventually. Gulp. Cool. Quick and responsive. And that's what this game is. Get past the depths and half of Blighttown if you want. True, I can go in through the Valley of Drakes. That's probably a better idea. I'm not going back for those souls either. Yoink. Yoink. This gormless freak. Oh, where is it again? It's all the way off to this side. Up here. I don't have the key for it. Never mind. We do have to go through some of it until we get that key. Gormless is one who is without Gorm. It just means, like, just kind of stupid. In the most simplifying term. Like, we're going there anyway. Is it faster to go through this way? I think it is. I honestly probably should just switch my weapon build at this point, just start using big strength weapons, but I have to level them. I don't think I have enough leftover supplies from the, like, pseudo speedrun playthrough I did in whatever in January. Vandal. Boink. Gulp. Gorsh. See, whatever weapon I would want to switch to right now, I'd have to level it. And I just don't think I have the resources required to level it to the point that it's useful enough at the moment. Now you got? Let's see. Also, I think I went the wrong way. 6. Boy, just New Game Plus 1, they really inflated the difficulty of a lot of enemies. Like the damage of these enemies at the start of the game are like already like end game enemy levels. And it's like, we're in the fucking Undead Burg. Oh my god. Oh. Get to like +4. Yeah, I could. I have... How the fuck do you get down? I can, like... There's a reason why I missed so much of it in my first playthrough. I was like, how the fuck do you even get down to, like, the lower Undead Burg? It's, like, always, like... It always confuses me every time, like, where the fucking thing is for it. Of, like, how to drop down. All the way over there. Up there. It's like, that's the staircase to it, but it's like, it's... Ugh. Just a pain. Like, there's somewhere to drop down around here that, like, gets you down there. Is that from where I just killed the Black Knight? Or not just killed, but I think that's where the Black Knight is. We gotta go over there and drop down. I will say that the New Game Plus experience of Dark Souls 1 is very different than the New Game Plus experience of Dark Souls 3. Like, the New Game Plus experience of Dark Souls 3 is that, like, you load back into the game after, like, starting the New Game Plus, and you're just tearing through enemies. Like, the beginning game enemies aren't shit to you at that point. Somewhere around here. Gonna drop down there. I recently had on my YouTube recommended. It like recommended me like a video, or maybe it was like a VOD of a stream of somebody who was like I just saw the title of it. It was like Dark Souls 3 New Game Plus 100. I was like, Jesus Christ. To each their own, but my god. I think the area I'm looking for is actually closer to the start of the Undead Burg, isn't it? It's just so easy to get lost here. If you like, it says I just don't know. I just don't know the layout of this, like how to quickly reach the place I need to get to. I think it's like you turn around from the start or something. Down there. And I lizard, I don't know. I don't know. Where can I drop down? Is it over from this rooftop? From where the merchant guy was? Or is that, am I thinking wrong? Oh, for fuck's sake, do the kick. Oh, for fuck's sake, do the kick. Oh my god. Oh my god, just do the fucking kick. Please. Thank you. I don't know why that had to be so hard. On the dragon bridge? Well, I guess we're going back there then. There is a speedrun skip from this platform up here. Where you just, like, jump out of bounds and, like, land down in, like, Blighttown. Or, like, down in the depths. Every frame is so dense. Dark Souls 1 is the funniest game we've ever had. There we go. Just had to remember that specific. What a thrill with darkness and silence of the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing that like bothers me with this game is just like, just remember where all the fucking keys are, why don't you? Remember where every key is and what door it goes to. How I ended up accidentally skipping the depths on my first playthrough. Yeah, Dark Souls 1 Meat Riders when they have to fight the four kings without Hovel's armor. There's so many options for playstyles. You can play strength or strength. I'd really love strength. Oh, and if you're really if you're feeling risky, you know it's kind of dangerous, but you could try pyromancy. Yeah, fucking.
Somebody.
You.
Brilliant. Thank you. I am Griggs of...
Griggs.
Oh,
Nice corpse. It's like the four lords, the four kings of New Londo is like one terrible example. Gravelord Nito. Another prime example. Let's see, what else? As iconic as it is, I'm not gonna pretend like Ornstein and Smo is not a huge pain in the ass without a co-op summon. Like, for how much people want to dunk on, like, other people for using co-op summons to, like, fight bosses. Okay, okay. We're not gonna pretend that Ornstein and Smo is not fucking miserable. The final boss is kind of just a parry check. Actually, not even just kinda. 100% just parrying. Let's see. There's the entirety of the Crystal Caves. Yep, there's Lost Izalith. That's just the fucking worst. Bed of Chaos. If you get a bad RNG cycle, good luck with Ceaseless Discharge. And you also have right here at the start of the game, in terms of pure fucking misery, the Capra Demon fight. You see the it's unfinished argument for that for the second half of the game is also really rich when you consider the fact that it's still in that condition in the remastered version. No, don't think that this section of the game is bad. It's just because they made it bad. It's not bad. They just made it bad. Fucking brilliant. That is probably like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Now that I'm thinking about it more. Just the more that I think about that, like, it's unfinished, like, in any way being a defense. Like, it almost, like, rings the same as, like, Your Honor, my client can't be responsible for the car accident. He was asleep. Yeah, your client was the driver. Not the defense you think it is.
Don't run off.
Go ahead and unlock this here. I don't know, people will go to any length to meat ride the things they like. It doesn't matter, like, what, like, stretch you have to make. If it's something that you like and other people are criticizing it, that is your cue to find just anything in your power to defend this game. Because not many people know this. Only the meat riders know this. Actually, if you defend a From Software game hard enough and tell the people who criticize it skill issue enough times, Miyazaki will actually give you a kiss on the forehead. This is confirmed. If you tell somebody complaining about anything in a From Software game that it's a skill issue, Miyazaki will give you head. And that's a FromSoft guarantee. You see, Dark Souls 1, it like lays out its levels in a way that's like very convoluted. That it's like you will go all the way through an area. You go all the way through the Undead Burg and you reach the Bell Gargoyles and you think, cool, I'm done with this area now because I fought the Bell Gargoyles, it led me right back to Firelink Shrine. Now I guess I go somewhere else. Nope. You're going right back to the Undead Burg. Alright, prepare for Capra Demon. Oh lord, here it goes. Cool. Best boss fight. Like, Dark Souls 3 may not be perfect, but at least I'm not fighting for my life in a broom closet. I fully believe that if Half-Light would have been a boss in Dark Souls 1 instead of Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1 meat writers would actually call it like the most revolutionary, amazing boss fight ever. I really do like that the Half-Light fight when you really boil it down. It just kind of comes to like, here's this DLC fight for you to enjoy. Except we didn't really have time to design it, so just here, fight somebody else. You're the boss fight now. Oh cool. Are we done here? Is that good enough? Can we sell this? Oh, nice damage. Bloodborne meat riders when you bring up shoving a blade up a pig's ass. Actually, never mind, that rules. No argument. Can you parry this guy? God, this fucking arena is so terrible. I like that my view keeps getting blocked every 2 seconds by trees. Again, in this actual broom closet we're fighting in. Fist actual yes, it is your fist. You put your weapon away to do it. No. I just wish people wouldn't pretend that like whichever game is their favorite is perfect. Like if something's getting unfair criticism, then fine. If you believe like a criticism that a game gets isn't fair and is like in bad faith. But like it really is just inherent within the any amount of From Software fan bases that whatever game it is that you like, whichever one's your favorite, that's the perfect one. And every other game is indefensible. And any argument made against it is high treason. You see, you're just using the word piggy there. It reminds me of just recently playing Chrono Trigger. There's that song that sounds so much like Paranoid Android. It has like the same bass line. All I can think is the kicking, screaming, Gucci little piggy. Good song. I quite like Radiohead, the stuff of theirs I've heard, which is the entirety of OK Computer and not much more. Other than like a couple other songs that are off of other albums, such as Creep. Oh, I've been blessed with an additional Estus. I don't know how, but I have that now. I'm trying to think if there's any other Radiohead song other than Creep that I've listened to. Like any song not off of OK Computer besides Creep that I've listened to. You see, there are Dark Souls 2 meat writers, but they're very few and far between, and they do tend to be more like level and measured than other meat writers. But I think like Dark Souls 2, a lot of the criticisms that you can have about it is just like, I don't like how this works. I don't like how it does this. I don't like how it does that compared to these other games. And so I think when like, you know, if somebody like their favorite game is Dark Souls 2, or at least their favorite in the series, like there's no way to deny those statements. There's no way to really counter it. Because it's kind of just like a case of like, yeah, it is very different, but I like it. Like, I think that's just kind of how Dark Souls 2 works. It's like, yeah, I know these games aren't perfect. It's got a lot of flaws, but so do all the games. Like, I feel like Dark Souls 2, it does get more hate than it deserves. Because, like, it has just about as many flaws as any other FromSoft game. Maybe a few more here and there, but it's not like it has way more flaws than every other Souls game. It's just different in a lot of ways. And so, like, if you are okay with it being a completely different experience, like, if you go into Dark Souls 2 and you don't have the expectation of it being Dark Souls 1 or 3, then you can have a pretty good time. It's just about like, if Dark Souls 2 released as its very own video game, completely separated, like it had like nothing to do with the rest of the Dark Souls series, didn't even have Dark Souls in the name, I think it would be better respected. It's just that when the expectation of it being a Dark Souls game and it functions very differently and it's very like, it's a very different thing from the others, I think that's where a lot of that criticism comes from for Dark Souls 2. Like, if you just treat it as its own standalone experience, which I'm pretty sure is kind of the point of it, not being related at all to, like, Lordran and the four kings and whatever, the four lords. Like, it has light relations to them in the lore. But ultimately, it's like, it's its own entirely unique experience that's very different from what you'd come to expect. And if you just accept that from the beginning, you can have a pretty good time playing Dark Souls 2. I hated Dark Souls 2 the first time I played it. I despised Dark Souls 2 the first time I played it. And is it my favorite game now? No. No, far from it. But, like, I'm able to recognize at this point in time that Dark Souls 2 is not a bad game. It's weird, it's different, it's not perfect, it has its own set of flaws, but it's not bad. I need to cosplay this fucker. I gotta get a little bit more ripped, though, first. Nah, dude. Muma's a cover-up. I'm totally jacked. Yeah, Dark Souls 1 with its only 8 cardinal directions of rolling. And you cannot roll in, like, you don't get full... you don't get full 360 movement when you target an enemy. I see that fucker up there on the ceiling. I see you up there. Can I throw a thing at you from here? No. I can't even target you. I guess I'll just have to draw you down. Damn it. It would have been... Oh, cool. It would have been near unimaginable about a year ago that I would be defending Dark Souls 2. But fuck it, I'll defend Dark Souls 2. Just avoid this landmine of a room. Oh my god. I meant minefield, but whatever. Oh my god. 1 HP. You see, it's like, I try and think about it, like, was there any game like Dark Souls? Like, was there any Souls-like game? Anything that even controlled or played remotely close to these games before Demon's Souls? Like, the way that this game plays and it functions. Why is this locked? Why don't I have the key for you? I guess I gotta go find it elsewhere. Elsewhere. I was like, was there, like, really, like, no other game that functioned like this, or like had this same kind of feel? So I feel like there had to be like, you know what? Actually, you know what? I have an answer for that. It's Ocarina of Time. There it is.
Rats, we're rats. We're the rats. We pray at night, we stalk at night.
We are the rats. I'm the giant rat that makes all of the rules. See what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into. Dude, I didn't feel it at first, but now I'm like sad about the Germa retirement. Like I was chill with it on announcement, but like, dude, he's gone. Dude, he's fucking gone. Like he's turned into a background extra in like other streams that like he helps coordinate because like he's with the whole production thing. He's the whatever. Like creative guy for like the streamer production thing that Ludwig started. But dude, it's like he's just like he's a background extra these days. It's like I miss him. Where'd he go? He said he had plans for streams in retirement. One of it, like he's been hyping up eating macaroni and cheese for a month. That's the state that we're at. He's been hyping up macaroni and cheese. What the fuck happened? I miss the old bugger, I do. I do understand his decision, though, to retire. I do fully understand it. For, like, two big main reasons why it's, like, 100%, like... You see, it's a soft retirement. It's just that now he can do streaming as, like, a hobby when he feels like it, and not the thing that he, like, does as, like, you know, his main career. But, like, I fully understand why he would retire, why he would step back. When you think about the fact that Germa blew the fuck up in the past couple years, like, since, like, early 2022, maybe late 2021, maybe even earlier than that, I don't know, Germa just, like, completely blew up as, like, a personality online. And that really, like, it really decentralized his, like, his fan base became less centralized and, like, way more scattered. Like, the demographic he was serving, like, expanded tremendously. To where, like, the audience that he was, like, making streams for in the first place almost became the minority of, like, who the content is made for, or, like, who's actually watching it at that point. There's, like, a okay, just saw inside of that rat. There was, like, a complete changing of the guard in that way. And with that came, like, you know, different audience members. Completely. It's gonna completely change the environment of your stream and, like, your chat and how you interact and who interacts with you. Nice axe buried in your face. Oh my god, for fuck's sake. By the time I stand up, this fucker's already ready to another attack. And then that just goes through my shield! This fucking rat. There. So you have that aspect of it, of, like, the main demographic that he serves is no longer the main demographic that's watching him and engaging with his stuff. And I imagine that's very difficult to work around. Where do I go now? So you have that aspect of it. As one part to consider. And you consider the other aspect of it, that with the audience growing that big, Jerma became more of a meme than a streamer. Like, in the eyes of the people watching him, he was a meme and not a person. Like, it became less about... Oops. It became less about, like, watching Jerma's streams to see, like, you know, the content that he makes and watch him be funny. Like, the stream became entirely... It became less about, like, you know what? This is a streamer that I like. I'm just gonna sit here and hang out and watch him. It kind of, like, became, like, an audience of, like, vultures, just, like, waiting for a moment to clip and ship as, like, weird funny man does weird funny thing. And that's gotta feel weird. Like, knowing that, like, the people that you are, like, making entertainment for, all they're doing is sitting around there waiting for you to do something weird so they can clip it and, like, post it on TikTok. And they're there for, like, no other reason other than just for you to, like, do something weird. So then you feel, like, forced to cater to that. And if you don't cater to that, then you lose that crowd and you're like, you're boring. But if you do cater to that, then all the rest of your audience members, like you know, the people who've hung around there the longest, are like, you know, they don't really have a reason to stick around because that's not the content that they were there for. Big rats. Like, everybody at that point has, like, everybody kind of has, like, their own personal Jerma in their head. And the Jerma in their head is constructed of whatever memes they consumed, what the clips they liked and shared around is what they think Jerma is. And so anything, and I mean literally anything, that Jerma does now, no matter what he does, what he streams, what he says, there is always going to be somebody that is going to be let down by it. Because it's not what they specifically were expecting from it. So, like, it kind of, like, is this no-win situation now. Poke. Where, like, there's, because of how divided his audience is now, how many demographics he reaches, it is completely impossible to cater to all of them. And that is just a stress that is likely just not worth trying to deal with at all. Just, at that point, let yourself be whatever meme. Like, let yourself be the meme at that point. And just let that exist for people. Because if he acts like a normal person and not a crazy psychopath, look at this guy zerking off. Every time that he does a stream that isn't that image of what people want in their head becomes further and further from reality. And there's nothing that you can do at that point to, like, fix that. Like, no matter what you do, you are going to be ruining the thought of yourself for somebody else. It truly is better at that point to just let yourself be whatever people think you are and do nothing that could prove them wrong. Like, if Jerma streams at this point, every time he streams is just going to push the idea of who people think he is and what his content is. It's just going to push that further and further away. Until nobody is satisfied. Yeah, it's just... his streams are just it's something unique to everybody who watches it. So every step he takes now has to be so delicate to not ruin that for each individual. And dude, like, that's just... it has to be insane to manage. So good on him for, like, stepping back from it almost entirely. Because that is a hole that you cannot dig yourself out of. What do I want to level it? Get more strength, why not? Although I should probably just be pumping vitality for how much I'm getting my ass handed to me. Alright, let's go fight that gaping dragon. Crouching tiger, gaping dragon. I make myself laugh, and that's what's important. You see, that's why I'm going to be streaming forever. Because, in layman's terms, I don't give a fuck about y'all. Which is somewhat of a lie. But it's also somewhat true. That in reality, I really do this for myself. And if I wasn't happy with what I was making, I wouldn't make it. Like, if I got to a point in streaming where, like, I just had to play games that I didn't want to play, and had to, like, do streams, like, that I just didn't want to do for the sake of pleasing a crowd, I wouldn't do it. Because this is, first and foremost, about what I want, and you don't get a say in it. Ow. I don't like this fight. Dark Souls 1 Meat Riders when Gaping Dragon. I think my favorite thing about Gaping Dragon is its command grab attack that activates a grab hitbox on the first frame of the animation before the arm has even moved. I think that's my favorite thing about it. You're stomping. Come on. Slam your face down. Slam your body down and wind it all around. Ow. I thought I was out of range of that. And then you stomp. Nice. That does damage too. Peak boss fight. Peak. Yeah, I mean, that really just cuts to the core of what I was saying. It's like, at this point, Jerma can't do anything without disappointing somebody. So it's really better to just let yourself exist as a memory at that point. And just let yourself exist as whatever image people have in their head and do nothing to disturb that. Because it is so much better for people to just have that. And it's so much better for just like his legacy to just have that. Now you see, I've noticed you here criticizing Dark Souls 1 in my chat. I'm gonna need you to step into the back of this unmarked white van. There's the key. Okay, so now I think we can go through the Valley of the Drakes. I'm pretty sure. 'Cause I think that opens up, like, for the other side. Or something like that.
Oh no, I don't. Not me. I never lost control.
Oh, God. Sometimes you gotta stretch. Sometimes it's a good idea. Master key?
Yeah, but I don't know where to get there right now. I don't remember where the master key is. And I'm too embarrassed to ask about it. You're not very bright, are you?
Well, time to crawl out of here. Fucking nice torch. Dark Souls 1? This is good. You criticize, I kill you. Guardian gift can be purchased via Domhnall. Oh, yes. Yes, Domhnall. Yes, Domhnall. Okay, will he have already moved on from down here? Let's see, has he already moved on? The funky guy. Is he still here? Yes, he is. Nice. I rather like Domhnall. He's one of my favorite FromSoft NPCs. Aye, Shabai. No, he doesn't have it. Oh, maybe once we get back up to the surface, maybe he has it. Try that. Can I use this to go? No, can't use to go back to the... Man, that's one of the nicest things ever about Dark Souls 3 is Homeward Bones giving you the option to either go to your last bonfire or Firelink. Like, oh, yes, get me out of this dungeon. But here, you get no fast travel. You got no rights. I really love how colorful this game is. All this puke green everywhere.
Get me the fuck out of here. Get me the fuck out of here. I want to go home. Let me leave.
Ow. Ow. Oh, hi, doggy. Dark Souls 1 Meat Riders when you have to walk all the way back up from Blighttown to Firelink. Ow. I think he just goes back to Firelink after you beat the Gaping Dragon. Maybe don't go back up. I have no other choice. Gotta ring the second bell. Yeah, but I can't get anywhere further from right here, though. The second bell isn't down here. This isn't the way to Blighttown. I gotta completely leave here to reach Blighttown. Oh, wait, no, I don't. No, I don't. The door's down here. I'm dumb. I don't know where my brain went. Also, fuck those 40,000 souls. I don't care.
Okay, put my turbo costume.
Hey, bye. Yeah, because I didn't start this character with... You know, I really could have just, like... I could have just started from a fresh character and not a New Game Plus, and we probably would get through here just as fast. I could have just restarted with the Master Key, but whatever. Who cares? Here, I can speed run through Blighttown. I'm gamer. Boink.
Suck it. Eat it. Consume it. The excrement. Loathsome dung eater.
Dark Souls 1 peak. You see, that's optimal for a lot of things, but also starting with the Master Key does let you, like, if you start with Master Key, you can skip a lot of Blighttown. I don't need to grab anything from around here, so let's just move. Oh god, these fuckers. Oh, thief starts with the key. That makes sense. Chat, I will again inform you that the reason why I'm doing this in the first place, and even playing Dark Souls 1 at all right now, and going through like a New Game Plus, I will remind, the only reason I'm doing this is so that way I can see the DLC and other areas that I ignored in my other playthroughs. So sometime soon I can do a randomizer. Is like the whole reason I'm playing this right now. I'm not making that jump. I'm not doing that. You're not baiting me with that today. Mr. Zaki. Yeah, I did the Dark Souls 3 rando recently. And I would do another Elden Ring rando, as I've done like twice already, or maybe just once. I know I've done an Elden Ring rando at least once, and I would do that again. But my relationship with Elden Ring is still somewhat tenuous. I feel like right now I'm in couples therapy with Elden Ring. Like, legitimately, off stream, I'm in couples therapy with Elden Ring. Because I've been putting in the time off stream, just like playing like a little bit. Like, just play a little bit of Elden Ring in my own time. just for like an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time. Really casual, just like walk everywhere, talk to every NPC, really explore every nook and cranny, and like just like really slow down as much as possible and just really try to understand everything about the game and try to like really engage with it and like try and like I'm trying to understand, oh god, weapon durability, like trying to understand like the lore of Elden Ring, what the story's about, why these characters are important, what significance any part of the world has. I've been doing that in my own time, just to try and like, you know, just try and like just have that just couples therapy with Elden Ring, some way to understand why the experience specifically, like what is it specifically that makes this experience so miserable for me? What is it about this that like drives me crazy in so many ways beyond the few things that I rant about the most? And if there's any way that I can like approach it that I just like don't have those issues anymore and it's just not like, you know, present of mind. Elation ahead. No, it's not that it's open world. The only problem that I would have with it being open world is just how it still runs like shit on PC. But the problem isn't that it's open world. I just do have a problem with, like, how the open world is structured in a way that most of what you find throughout a lot of the game, like a lot of the areas that you explore through, there's not much to do or see in those areas beyond collecting a few common resources. And that's somewhat of a letdown for me. You see, I'll remind... If chat wants to tell me that Elden Ring doesn't have, like, PC problems, or, like, downplay the PC problems, I will remind of when Elden Ring first came out. The first or second time that I streamed it, it crashed so hard in Agheel Lake that it disabled every single USB device connected to my computer and shut everything down. Like, From Software historically does not do great PC ports. The best example of a From Software PC port that I can think of is Armored Core 6. But even Armored Core 6, it ran perfectly in-game, and then it would drop down to 12 FPS if you opened a menu. So maybe get that sorted out a little bit. Although I haven't played the game since it came out, so I can't exactly speak on how it is now. I probably will sometime this year replay Armored Core 6 because I did really like it. And there is still the other storyline that I wanted to go through. It's just one of those things that's not a very high priority because, like, I'm still satisfied with my Armored Core experience. Even to this point, at this current date, I am satisfied with the amount of Armored Core that I have played. And it would be cool to play more of it, but I don't really see it as any kind of necessity. So it's pretty low on the priorities. Although, hey, it might move up a little bit now that Final Fantasy VII's out of the way. See, PlayStation now, like Sony and Microsoft have both been like coming to terms recently with the state of their consoles and how like there's really like truly, if you have the option to get a PC setup, you should. And unless you're just really that into couch gaming and you just really don't want to learn how a computer works, there's truly no reason to get a console right now. Because consoles don't really have exclusives right now. And they just, like, underperform your average, you know, PC setup. So, like, there really is, like, not really any reason to get, like, there's, unless you don't already have a PC, you don't need a PS5. And so, like, Microsoft and Sony have both been coming to terms with this. And in coming to terms with this, they've been changing their policies about, like, exclusives. Like, there are exclusives from from some platforms that are, like, now starting to make their way elsewhere because they're just like, well, we might as well try to just, like, you know, there's not enough people exclusively playing on Xbox now to, like, fully justify, like, just having exclusives for this, because if we only sell this to Xbox customers, we are not going to make enough sales, because our demographic is not large enough. Such as Final Fantasy 16. Fucking... whatchamacall? Square Enix and Sony, they were both like, yeah, Final Fantasy 16, it still sold well. But they were like, yeah, it just didn't sell as good as we wanted it to. It's like, yeah, no shit, you sold it on the PS5 exclusively. A console that people are still trying to get their hands on. And the people who do have their hands on it got it to play Spider-Man and fuck all else. Of course it didn't sell well. So, like, just information like that does give me a little bit more hope that just maybe, we will be lucky enough, we will be graced by a Bloodborne port eventually. And Bloodborne did make the news recently because they interviewed for, you know, the new Elden Ring DLC. I think I should just switch into a Black Knight sword for this regardless of if it's, like, leveled, because I just need, like, pure Oonga Boonga for this fight. So it's like, it really is in the best interest of Sony and Microsoft at this moment to just, like, they're, you know, Sony and Microsoft at this moment. Sorry, I skipped the titties, forgive me. It's kind of better for them if they go the Sega sort of path. Like, if they focus less on trying to have their own proprietary hardware, like, they will have a significantly better time just trying to sell the games that they have the rights to, as opposed to having the rights to those only on their system. Because it's really nerfing the shit out of their sales. Also, I need to, like, stop using lock-on in this game. Okay. Lock-on targeting in this game is terrible. I will not pretend that trying to, like... Because when you are locked onto an enemy, you really start to notice those 8 directions of rolling. Wow. Cool how I had time to get away from that. You see, but PlayStation has been, Sony has been for the past couple of years. Oh, cool, armor at risk. That's awesome. That's so cool. You know what? I'm just gonna switch my sword back. But like, Sony has been for the past couple of years moving some of their like exclusive properties onto PC. God of War comes to mind. And some other minor exclusives made their way to like the Epic Store a few years ago. Like 4 games? Yeah, but consider, PlayStation doesn't have but 4 games. Oh, I forgot to repair my armor. Open the door, get on the flow, still no game for the PS4. Repair equipment. Fix it. Fix it, fix it, fix it. Oh, insufficient souls. Oh, that's not good. You see, another thing that I think, like, another reason why I think the focus is, like, starting to be shifted away from, like, having exclusive games to your exclusive console. I think a reason why they could be shifting away from things like that, consider what just happened not but a few months ago. When Microsoft tried buying Activision. That hit so many, that went through so many legal not loopholes, but like so many, like, such legal scrutiny and examination. Like, even foreign markets were like, whoa there. You're like, you might actually have a monopoly if you do this. Like, we need to make sure if you're gonna, like, because that's been the business model of, like, Sony and Microsoft for the past several years, has been buy up rights to all these games, buy up these companies, these studios, so you have rights to all their games, and make them exclusives. And that legitimately does raise concerns for antitrust laws. And so, like, if you want, you know, if you're Sony, if you're Microsoft at this moment and you saw everything that happened, I think still happening with Microsoft trying to buy Activision, you'd realize, shit, this is, like, really risky to try and buy these publishers, try and buy these studios for exclusives. Now that the pressure is on and all eyes are, like, front and center about how doing that, like, could violate antitrust laws. Wow, fucking nice. And so I think that's why we've seen, like, more of a shift away from that, and why we've seen more exclusives showing up on other markets, even just at all, is the realization that they will not be able to do that business model of just buying, and making exclusive for much longer without significant amounts of legal friction. So if you're in their position, it's so much easier and so much less stressful and so much safer to just turn yourself into, like, you know, just turn yourself into, like, a publisher instead of trying to be the biggest head in the race. Okay, let's see. What have I got going on here? I could try the Black Knight sword again, and I will. You see, the reason why it violates, why they're concerned, not so much with it being a monopoly, well, somewhat being a monopoly. The thing is that Call of Duty is still one of the biggest game franchises of all time, and it is still a huge moneymaker. That if Microsoft owns Activision and makes Call of Duty an exclusive, that steals a lot of business away from Sony and other distributors. It's not so much about like how much money Microsoft will make. It's about how unfair that is to the rest of the competition. You see, they say that, and you can trust that. You can take that at face value, which there's not exactly a lot of reason to not. Like, you know, of course, that is like, if they go back on that and like do end up making it exclusive, then like that will be like somewhat surprising, but not entirely. Because, you know, it's a company acting to get more money for itself. And so it's not like, you know, it's not like they say that they're not going to do that. It's just that there is an issue with them having the power to do that. That's where the concern is that, like, it's not about whether or not they will do it. It's the fact that they shouldn't have the ability to do it. You know, because that's how you get your, like, Standard Oil. So it's like, it's not so much about, like, whether or not you trust Microsoft to do that or not. It's that the law states that they really shouldn't be able to do that and shouldn't be in a position to do it. That's where the bigger thing is. So it's like, whether or not it's a good business decision is completely irrelevant to any amount of discussion about it, because it's not about whether it's a good business decision for Microsoft to do that. It's just the fact that there are laws in place that prevent that. Ding dong.
Wowie zowie. Wow is this, zow is this. Sen's Fortress is open. Get your bussy ready. Here it goes. Crank your chain, King.
See, again, it's not, like, that point is not relevant to the legal side of the case. Like, quite literally, whether or not it's a good business decision or if you trust Microsoft to make whatever decision is completely irrelevant in the actual, like, reasoning of why, you know, it's in this situation. Is that they just, like, they really have to make sure that it doesn't violate the law. He has nothing to say to you. Just wanted to read this message, but okay. I'm gonna get back up to the surface, and then I'm gonna call it a night because I've been going for quite a while already, and I feel like that would be a pretty appropriate place to end. Well, you see, the deal went through, and then it was immediately, like, I don't know if it went through again, but I remember seeing about a couple months ago that the deal had gone through, but then, like, a different, like, case was, like, it was, like, thrown into a different case where they were, like, going back over, like, okay, so I know this just got passed, but, like, we need to, like, bring this up again because there's, like, more, is, like, basically what the second thing was. Yeah, it's really more about, like, there is the opinionated side of it, of, like, what it will do or what it could do to the games industry. That complete ownership. That's one side of it. Except it's not a side of it. That's an addendum of it. The only actual important thing about it was just the legality. Because if it didn't have to jump through a bunch of legal hoops, we wouldn't be talking about it. It would just be another merger that goes under the radar. And go. The legal battles aren't pointless. It's literally just to make sure that it doesn't violate the law, which it very easily could have. Like, the reason why there was 2 years of legal proceedings about this is because a merger like that, an acquisition like that, rather, not a merger, an acquisition like that would have undefined potential to fuck up so much of the games industry. And that's why there has to be all of the legal discussion about it. It's not about what is Microsoft going to do. It's what will they have the power to do. And whether Microsoft said out the gate that they were going to make it exclusive, they weren't going to make it exclusive, is completely irrelevant. Because no matter what statement they make regarding that, doesn't change the law. That legal proceeding, regardless of if they said that they were going to or if they weren't going to, does not change that that is still a legal discussion that needed to occur. Like, there's a lot bigger picture of it than just Microsoft and Sony. Because there's also the very tricky thing of doing an acquisition of this scale also sets a legal precedent. So it's not just about, like, this one case where the decision, the ruling doesn't really have an ultimate effect, doesn't really matter. The ruling decided for Microsoft and Activision quite literally defines how anything like this is going to work in the future. Like, any time that any large acquisition wants to be made in the future by any games company, it is going to reference this case. And that's what makes it very important to have due diligence. But regardless, we're done here now. I will be picking this back up soon, where we can actually get into the DLC and check that out. Yeah, this entire Dark Souls section was all FromSoft politics. Alright. It was all gaming politics all the way down. Being hit by so many things. But I'm done for tonight. Thank you for joining me in this. I should be back. I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow at the usual time. It depends on, I have stuff to edit. Depends on whether or not I get that edited within a certain amount of time. We'll see. Tomorrow's stream could be late, or I could also very well take tomorrow off. I've just been kind of tired lately. I might possibly take tomorrow off. We'll have to see though when we get there. But for now, good night.